Okay, so we're going to go over the different names for things, for all the small little particles that you've learned about at GCSE. Because if you've seen any of my videos, you know that I hate the term particles. So we're going to go through all of these step by step and explicitly say the names. And what I highly recommend you do is you make a flashcard with these names on and the thing that they refer to, so you can very quickly learn what they are, which will make things easier. So we're going to start with the positively charged ones. These are called protons. Positively charged little particle with a mass of 1. Q is charge. We also have neutrons, which are neutral with a mass of 1. And then together, this forms what's called the nucleus. It's debatable whether a nucleus would be classified as a particle or not, but that's what that term means. So far we've got protons, neutrons, nucleus. Around that we have these little things called electrons, which are fundamental particles. They have no mass, or negligible mass even. It's actually 9.11 times 10 to the minus 31 kilograms, I think. The charge is negative. Combined, my electrons, protons, and neutrons form what's called an atom. So collectively, these three particles make a particle called an atom. That is the name of that particle. Now, my atom's identity is called the element. So, for example, if atom is t-shirt, element would be the brand of that t-shirt, like Gucci or Ralph Lauren. Okay, so I can have 3 oxygen atoms. That would mean that I have 3 atoms that are the element oxygen. That's the identity of the atom. So that's what element means. So again, you wouldn't refer to particles as elements. That's the identity of the atom. Okay, and then if we get a few of these things together and they form a covalent bond, that is where they share electrons. This is a completely made up particle now because we can't get dihelium like this, but let's just pretend we could. This is what's called a molecule. So a molecule is when we have a covalent bond, and only a covalent bond, between atoms. Now molecules are called simple compounds in terms of their structure because they're relatively small. They have a structure which will be denoted with the number of, for example, C6H12O6 for glucose. You will denote the number of the atoms and the identity to name a molecule. Okay. If my compounds start to get even bigger, they cease to become molecules. So for example, if we look at something like salt, sodium chloride has infinite sodiums and chlorides. Not infinite, but a lot of them. When a structure is this big, and I'm not going to be able to draw a structure this big this quick. When a structure is this big, we stop calling it a molecule, it becomes a compound. You cannot call anything that is bigger than a simple molecular compound a molecule. Now, you can call simple molecular compounds compounds, and therefore, if you are debating, is it a molecule, is it a compound, it's better to use the word compound. Molecules can be compounds, but not all compounds are molecules. So this is the best word to use. It's important that you never say a salt molecule, for example. You will be marked down for that in the exam. All metals and all ionic compounds, such as salts, are compounds. You cannot have a molecule of iron, you cannot have a molecule of silicon dioxide. So let's recap all the different particles that we've just covered so that you can make sure that you refer to the right things. Protons, little positively charged things with a mass of 1. Neutrons, they have a charge of 0 and a mass of 1. And then electrons have a charge of -, and a mass of 0, negligible. All of these together make up what's called the atom. The identity of an atom is called the element. Atoms can interact together to form even bigger compounds. These are all called compounds. We can have simple molecules, which are relatively small compounds with formulas that do not repeat, or we can have giant compounds, which can be salts or metals or covalent. We can have giant covalent compounds like silicon dioxide, for example, which I think I referred to as a salt earlier, and it's not.